From a brilliant lineup with the WBO junior lightweight title on the line, to the king being slightly favored over Vaquero by the sports veteran Tim Bradley, this is Pros Predict Emanuel Navarrete versus Óscar Valdez. It's gonna be an epic Mexican showdown. Y'all were disappointed when the matchup couldn't be tested back on February 3rd, 2023, right? Well, it's time to be excited, because Valdez wanted to be in his best form to put up an entertaining fight. He withdrew from the last date due to a rib injury that had been bothering him. But things are coming together, and with that rib finally good to go, Emanuel Navarrete and Óscar Valdez are going to battle it out on August 12, 2023. It's going to happen in the Desert Arena, Glendale, in the US. Now, when Valdez was getting better, Emanuel wasn't taking things slow. In February, he faced Liam Wilson as the replacement, in which he gathered himself up after a fourth-round knockdown to score an amazing ninth-round TKO victory, in a bout that many claim was one of the best of the year. The win made him a three-division champ, but his toughest battle yet is still to happen. This time around, he's gonna have to bring the same energy, because he'll be defending his WBO junior lightweight title. So let's look at the fighters. Now, on the one hand, you've got Emanuel, whose accomplishments include holding the WBO junior featherweight title from 2018 to 2020, and then moving on to the WBO featherweight title in 2020 that he wants to hold on to. As of May 2023, he was recognized as the world's second best active super featherweight, while the Transnational Boxing Rankings Board had him at number 10. You'll see him standing at 5 feet and 7 inches with a reach of 72 inches. At 28, his exemplary professional record stands at 37 wins and only 1 loss. He loves going for the knockout and has got 31 of his wins through it, with 6 due to a decision. Now, facing off against him, it's going to be Óscar Valdez, the former world champion in 2 weight classes, who held the featherweight title from 2021 to 2022 and has formerly held the WBO featherweight title for 3 years. He became the first Mexican youth world champion at 17, and he can be a pretty aggressive fighter. At 5 feet 5 inches and a reach of 66 inches, his record at 32 is 31 wins and 1 loss, securing 23 of those victories by knockout and 8 by decision. Now, straight off the bat, Óscar has the age while Emanuel has the experience. Emanuel also has an edge when it comes to height and reach. Now, both fighters have the skills to use their strengths. Emanuel is a powerhouse. Apart from his obvious physical strengths, he's a heavy-handed hitter who can go for a flush shot whenever he wants to. When he was up against Ruben Villa, he knocked him down twice, so that's the kind of punching power we're talking about. Emanuel, over his multiple career fights, has shown that he's got the chops, even when compared to some of the top names in the game. Now, he ain't the most elegant guy in the ring, nor is his style perfect, but here's a word that describes him best: effective. He can just get the job done. Also, the fact that he just keeps going at him shows that he's committed to his craft, can take the pressure, and put it on others with a couple of heavy hands as his choice of weapon. To add on to all that, he's also got some intangibles up his sleeves too, like determination and heart. Plus, he may not be able to do everything, but what he can do, he does exceptionally. He relies a lot on offense and has no problem getting aggressive if he needs to. When he fought Liam Wilson, Wilson had a powerful left hand, and he almost got to Emanuel. But the cowboy came back swinging. He was able to get into his groove later in the match and emerge victorious. That's because when Emanuel channels his best, he usually holds his ground, but sometimes he isn't too strong with the technicalities. Quote, "See, when Emanuel starts things off, he's in the zone. But as his fights go on, some of the technical flaws begin to emerge. This could be seen in his fight against Ruben Villa. Sure, he pushed Villa around at the start, and his superior punching was an asset. But as it continued, you could see that he missed a lot of punches and didn't have the best balance either. Because of such flaws, Emanuel probably won't be able to come out stronger at the world-class level. His defense also needs work, and he's aware of this. According to the fighter, the way he fights is correct, because people want to see a good boxing match, and they're disappointed when the boxer doesn't want to get into it with his opponent. He also shared that he doesn't care about improving his defense, because he believes he's got to risk something to get to his rival, and he's willing to do that. Also, Valdez will prove a worthy opponent against him. When it comes to defense, Óscar is airtight. He can move his head as the punches fly around him and keeps a tight guard. Plus, when he's in the thick of it, he can use his quick feet to get out of a sticky situation. He parries the punches with his gloves and can even get a little bit of Philly shell action going when he's fighting inside. Plus, he's got that epic left hook, and he likes to use his left hand surgically. He's accurate and moves it around, hitting a bunch of different angles and levels. He makes sure he stacks up some leverage when he's pulling them in succession. It also makes for an excellent counterpunch. His overall technique is great because he moves his feet in quick short steps, keeps his stance compact, and has a great balance. Plus, he keeps the fight dynamic by moving around in the ring. Defensively, he likes to engage, while in offense, he moves quickly inside on his opponent. He isn't afraid to have technical conversations and likes to nail down a strategy for his fights. Now, he might be good, but he's got some areas that need work too. When he's up against a corner in the ring, he can get outboxed. He lunges as he punches, and this can open him up to counterpunching. He's a creature of habit, and he'll need to tailor his fight to his opponent to beat Emanuel. Also, his height can be a disadvantage too, because that keeps him from being able to fight at a distance. This means that when things get bad for him, he can eat a lot of punches. Now, he's got the ability to block them, but when they happen rapidly, it can take a toll on his body. He ain't afraid of a good fight, which is probably why he's the slight favorite against Emanuel. In late July 2023, the odds stood at +130 for Emanuel and at -160 for Valdez. This means that there's a 57.99% chance that Valdez will win and a 42.01% chance for Emanuel. These numbers aren't random, and a lot of things are considered. Apart from boxing ability, activity and recent fight history play a major role too. Before this fight, Emanuel has bulldozed through his recent 5 rivals, while out of his last 5 clashes, Valdez lost 1 and won 4. His loss came against Shakur Stevenson on April 30, 2022. Also, Emanuel has been fighting more than Óscar. So, if you add it all up, it's an even matchup, and both fighters have their fair share of flaws too. Guess we'll have to wait and find out who'll come out victorious, but Tim Bradley has predicted a winner. The former professional boxer has got thoughts on the matchup and believes that Óscar can make Emanuel pay in the ring. Again, this is based on how Emanuel fought against Liam Wilson. Apparently, Valdez had a smile on his face while watching that fight, because his future opponent was struggling when it all started and even got dropped by the 4th round. Emanuel had a 23% connect rate, which was more than Wilson, and Joe Tessitore, the American sportscaster, noted this. The two also pointed out how Emanuel pulled a veteran move when he spat out his mouthpiece. It brought him a bit of time when he was feeling the heat. Bradley, however, thought that Wilson didn't soften Emanuel with effective punching, and Óscar could do it. He added that Vaquero's mistakes won't go unnoticed by Valdez, and that Óscar could make him pay for all his slip-ups. Still, the fact that he has a stellar set of hands would keep things interesting. So, from the King being slightly favored over Vaquero by the sport's veteran Tim Bradley, to a brilliant lineup with the WBO junior lightweight title on the line, that was Pros Predict Emanuel Navarrete versus Óscar Valdez.